Good evening, children. So once again here. Yesterday we discussed about human resource, the factors, and I also told you a story about A and B. We'll relate that later on. So yesterday what we discussed? Human resource. So what is human resource? Any individual who has education, is efficient, skilled, and contributes towards any kind of productive activity is called as human resource. Today we shall discuss about development of human resource. So as you can see, 4 factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, that is money, and organization. So these are the 4 factors of production, because without production a country cannot progress, or its economic growth will be halted or will stop. So now in these 4 factors, land, labor, capital, and organization, now man has direct contribution in all 3 factors, that is capital, organization, and labor. Now man do not contribute directly to land, because land, we don't make lands. Lands are already there in the nature, right? We just can make the land more fertile, and that too by being a developed human resource. But other, capital, organization, and labor, these 3 man has direct contribution. Then production is not possible without human. So even if a country has plenty of natural resource, but if the human or people of that particular country is not well developed, then they won't be able to produce or utilize those resources. So production is not possible without human. Human in the sense labor. And labor, not every kind of labor. Labor who are skilled, who has knowledge, who are educated, and who are well trained. Then only they can contribute towards any kind of productivity. Then, main driving forces of the human resource development is education, training, and health. So, even if a person has these 4 forces like education, training, and health, but if it is not engaged in any kind of work, then he or she is not a human resource. So, but also without training or being healthy or education, then also a person cannot become a human resource. But even after having these 3 things, these driving forces, one has to engage himself or herself in some kind of work. Then, why these are important? Now, education and training. When one person is educated and has gone through some training, that means he has developed knowledge and he has also become efficient. And while being healthy means, if a person's health is good, that means he can work, and if he works, that is, he will have energy to do work. But the thing is that, now let's talk about India. Now India is a country that has large population. So it's not possible for the government to develop the human resource, though it's trying. Now, education, training, and health. Now, as we have discussed, that these are very important. Now, who will provide? Yeah, it's the government job, or it's the duty of the government to provide us education, to provide us training, and to provide us better medical service. Then only we can become a developed human resource. So, we have just discussed about the development of human resource, the 4 factors of production. Then Now, before that, we also discussed about India. Now, India is a large country with a large population. But though we have started, like we have approach, scientific approach towards education, health, facility, training. Not only India, in fact, every country in this modern age has scientific attitude towards any kind of approach. But since the density of India is way too high, so it's not easy for the government to provide proper education, proper health care, proper training or employment to such a large population. But yet the government is trying, and we can see the result. If we go back 30 or 20 years back, the literacy rate of India was quite low. As compared to now, the literacy rate of India has increased, and that shows that the human resource in India has developed. Now we shall discuss about the indicators of human resource development. Now there are some signs that gives us an idea that the human resource has developed or not. So what is the indicator of human resource? So signs that gives us an idea about the development of human resource. They are called as indicators of human resource. So keep this in mind, the definition of what is indicators of human resource development. So signs that gives us an idea about the development of human resource is called as indicators of human resource. Now, some important indicators of human resource development are literacy rate, life expectancy, infant mortality rate, per capita income, school enrollment and dropout, and lastly, immunization rate. So these are some indicators of human resource development. So if we look into these indicators, then we will know whether the human resource of a particular country is developing or not. Now first, literacy rate. Now we know that quality education is the step for any kind of progress or development. So a proper education enhances or develops the knowledge of a person. And when a person has a knowledge and he becomes efficient, then he or she can engage himself or herself in any kind of productive work. So if you see the literacy rate, if you compare India's literacy rate to Japan, then you see here, India's literacy rate is about 74.04%, whereas Japan's literacy rate is about 99%. So that means that the human resource of Japan are well developed. Not only of Japan, but countries like UK, USA, even they have higher literacy rate. So that means the higher literacy rate, the higher the human resource has developed. Now, why Japan has this higher literacy rate? Now, India, though now we have, in spite of this having a large population, we also have enormous amount of natural resources. Remember that. So if this literacy rate increases, then we can convert those natural resources and can make our India progress. But remember, Japan, they do not have large or plenty of natural resources. They have scant natural resources. But the government of Japan has put more effort in their health and education. the government of Japan has contributed more on health and education of the people. So that's why, because they know that they do not have much natural resource. So that's why they need to upgrade their human resource. And as a result, since the literacy rate is high, that means the people of Japan are highly developed human resource. So they have learned to contribute towards a nation with whatever scant resource they have. And that's why Japan today is one of the developed nations. I think we are clear over here. Next is about life expectancy. Now, life expectancy means how long an individual is going to live from his birth. So, this is possible if the country has a proper medical health service or health service, and that only it will determine how long a person from his birth will live. So the life expectancy, even if you compare again Japan and India, then the life expectancy of India, I think, is about 68. So most people in India dies at the age of 68. But whereas in Japan, people at least live up to 73 or above. Why? Because they have better health service. So, if a person does not live long life, then he won't be able to contribute much towards the nation. So, if one has become a better or a developed human resource and he doesn't live long, that means he will not be able to contribute much towards his nation. So, for that, the life expectancy has to be higher, so that the longer he lives, the longer he can contribute towards his nation. Then the next is infant mortality rate. Now, this means when a child is born, he or she, the infant, dies within 1 year, then that is said to be as low infant mortality rate. So as you can see here, this data is per 1,000. So in 2008, in India, out of 1,000 children born in that year, 53 child or children died below the age of 1. That means those children did not get a chance to become a developed human resource. And also, if you take Assam, in the year 2008, out of 1,000, 64 children died. But the very next year, in 2009, out of 1,000, 50 children died in India, and in Assam, out of 1,000, 61 children died. So as you can see, the infant mortality rate is decreasing, right? 64 to 61 in Assam, and as a whole in India, 53 to 50. That means the infant mortality rate is decreasing, and that's a good sign. But if the infant mortality rate increases, and that means the human resource will not develop. Then the next is per capita income. Now, what is per capita income? Now, if we take the income of the entire India, the whole income, and then divide it by the population of India, then we get the per capita income. So, if the per capita increases, that means people are earning, and if people are earning means they are a good or developed human resource. And if the per capita income increases, that means the country's income is also increasing, and that's a sign that the country is in the path of progress. So per capita income also indicates the human resource development. If per capita increases, that means the human resource is also developing, and that also contributes towards the progress of the nation. Next is school enrollment and dropout. So this is also one of the indicators of human resource development. Now, in the rural areas, many children, they enroll themselves in the school, but by the time they reach class 8, class 7, many children drop out. This has been happening, say, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So if the school enrollment is less and the dropout is more, then that will affect the human resource development. But if the school enrollment is more and the dropout is less, then that's a symbol, a sign that the human resource will develop. And at present, you can see that more and more children are coming to school, they are getting proper education, because the government has taken certain initiatives like free and compulsory education, midday meal has been provided, and as a result, more and more children are enrolling themselves in school, and the less number of children are leaving the school. And that's a symbol that more enrollment, less dropout. That is the symbol that indicator that the human resource is developing. Lastly, immunization rate. Now, small children during their infancy, they are being given certain kinds of vaccine so that they are not being attacked by any kind of disease like measles or polio or any other diseases. Why? So that they live long. So immunization rate makes a person live long. So the government of India has also taken certain schemes and programs to immunize the population, especially the children. So if the immunization rate is higher, that means children will not die. They will live long, and in the future they can become a better human resource. So these are the indicators of human resource development, and they are very important. I hope you are clear with this.